Welcome to Exploring the Ozarks, where we explore people, places, and the history of the area. Here's Matt.
I just love that music every time. Hi, everybody. This is Matt Graham, Vice President of Central Bank of the Ozarks, and that's my day job. By night, I'm not just a superhero, but we also have a podcast called Exploring the Ozarks. It's on many forums, many platforms. Find us on Spotify, YouTube,
You're
Facebook.
a superhero, Matt.
I try to be, man. You know, you do home loans and you think it's just mundane, but really, it's nice to be able to really, truly help people. But that's enough about me.
You're a super home placer.
Super home placer.
Something like that. I was trying to think of something like riff off of superhero, but a super loner?
Maybe it'll fit on a business
card. Doesn't sound, no
super loner sounds like very depressing.
Very.
But thanks for tuning in to Exploring the Ozarks. Like I said, I'm Matt Graham. I'm here with my producer, David Carr.
That's
with
me.
Creative Endeavors. We're here today at the Springfield Studio 1 for our podcast. Check them out if you need to record your own podcast. Put on a small play. There's actually literally a stage in the other studio.
There is. Hand-built by me.
Yeah, we want you guys to come play some music in here, and not just a space to rent, but a place to hold an event as well. So
yeah, we're trying to get the movie industry started. So pretty much anybody that wants to do movie stuff, please come and chat with me.
Absolutely. He's been involved in Sato 48 a few times, things like that.
I help run Sato 48 now. Well,
there you go.
Help with managing it.
Well, there you
go.
Jeff
and John are the people that run it.
Right. So you just support staff. So you're also a superhero.
Yes. Yeah. No, well, I mean the last part maybe not, but no, yeah.
It's a good.
Okay.
It's a good.
I'm
platform.
sensing this is going to be a theme for this show: superheroes and what they mean for us.
Well, it's funny you said that, David, because superheroes have many different meanings, many different versions of superheroes. And
excellent transition.
I think we have one on the line here, Mr. Lowlan Breaux with Teen Challenge of the Ozarks, and I think that you probably are a superhero in some people's minds, to be honest with you, Lowlan. So welcome to the show, Lowlan.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And I don't know about a superhero, but some of my staff definitely are. That's for sure.
That's what a good executive director says right there.
Good answer.
But Lowlan is the executive director of Teen Challenge of the Ozarks down in Branson West. So we'll dive in a little bit into what Teen Challenge is, where it came from, where Lowlan came from. So what we want to try to get into first is, Exploring the Ozarks is exactly that. We're here to explore the people, places, things, history, small, hidden gems here and there, hiking trails.
Hear the stories.
The stories of everything that we've talked about so far, and our feedback's been amazing.
Yes.
Everybody that's supported us so far.
Not just our mothers.
It's funny you said that, because my mom just randomly heard us on her speakers coming through her car.
What was before I said that?
On the last podcast, so that was a pretty funny story in itself. But, we are here to support.
But she's not the only fan, so.
Not the only one, and I came into the office and people were talking about that too. But the biggest thing about why we started this was to, the epitome of it is today. Our last guest was Wayne Rader, who owns Pappy's Place, and they're doing a lot of big, cool stuff there. But we found out a lot about who he is, and he's the manager for Dino Carcinakis, and knows plays with Tony Orlando, played at the Grand Ole Opry for a long time.
Really cool history.
And I had no idea. I've been friends with him on Facebook forever, and I had no idea he did all this stuff. Right?
Really?
Yeah. And it's fun to meet that kind of person, but. To hear what he's doing with the area that he's with Pappy's, where he owns that, is truly amazing. Moving on, Teen Challenge, like we were talking about, Lowlan, was on my short list of places that we wanted to support through this show. Yeah. Any of our sponsors that we have all know why they're sponsoring this show, and it's to help tell their story. But we also know that there's a lot of need in this area, in Springfield and surrounding communities. And part of our pitch to our sponsors is you're going to be sponsoring to have these nonprofits come talk about what they do and support them. So one of those is Teen Challenge. And I know, David, you've got a connection to Teen Challenge where you... I
didn't go through it at all. Actually, my first exposure was, and not that that's bad. I mean, Teen Challenge is a lot of good help for people. But my exposure was through my business. Actually, Hamby Construction, they actually, I think it was a lot of it was volunteer work. They helped coordinate building the new school administrative building that they have down there. And I had the privilege of going through and recording the whole entire process. So I would go down there and take photos and drone video. And there's one that I did. One of the first ones I did was when they were pouring the cement for the foundation. So I got a lot of really cool shots of them doing that. And there was a lot of volunteers did that.
Very cool.
But the whole entire time, I went from foundation all the way to they finished the building, and I got to go in there. And I did an interview with Lowlan that day, actually.
Very cool.
That we're going to show here on Exploring the Ozarks.
Very good.
And just got to see the whole entire process unfold. It was great.
So that's a good lead into, there also will be another piece about Teen Challenge that's going to be up on our YouTube and Facebook and everywhere else.
Yeah.
So let's get down to it. I mean, we try to keep this as time effective as possible, but Lowlan, we're really excited to have you on here, and we're talking about Teen Challenge of the Ozarks. You're the executive director of the Teen Challenge in Branson West. So tell us about the programs, tell us about Teen Challenge, where it came from, and then we'll explore where you came from and all that kind of stuff too. But give us a rundown of what Teen Challenge is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so, the program is actually called Adult and Teen Challenge, and it is a worldwide organization. It's actually the largest faith-based recovery program in the world. So we have about 1,400 programs around the world.
Whoa.
So yeah, in all different parts of the world. It's pretty amazing.
I did not know that.
Gosh,
yeah,
no way.
Yeah, it is.
No idea.
In the United States, we have about 250 programs. 23 of them are adolescent programs, and our national headquarters is actually in Springfield.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
For Springfield.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Actually, in Ozarks, speaking the heart of the Ozarks.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I guess we could consider Springfield the heart of the Ozarks, pretty much. It is like the biggest center point. And
that makes sense.
Yeah,
I like that.
Almost geographically as well, but
almost geographically.
We'll not go down that road.
Yeah. Queen of the Ozarks. Maybe we need to rename it to the Queen City, Queen of the Ozarks.
I like it. That has a ring to it. So Ozarks Teen Challenge is a boys program. So we serve adolescent boys ages 14 to 17. The boys, they're struggling with different issues that is kind of keeping them from living a normal, productive life type thing, whether it be drug addiction these days, internet game addiction, and, some different mental health issues, or just different just problems in school and different things like that. They come and the boys come and live with us for a little over a year, about 15 months. So it's a long program. It's a long-term program.
Yeah.
So, Yep. So they come and they stay with us on property. We have around 25 to 30 boys that stay with us, and about
it's a beautiful property too. I mean,
yeah, it's a very beautiful property. It is.
It's hard to describe it, I think, on a podcast. You'll have to look at the video because it is literally in the hills of the Ozarks with forest all around it and multiple hilltops all around it. And like when you're flying the drone, especially, you can see all the valleys and all the different, like I was down there in the autumn and it was like all changing colors and it was just beautiful.
Good opportunity.
I mean, it's a great location for what they're doing here.
Right.
Yeah, it really is. And we're really grateful to have such a property. It's 200 acres, it's right next to Branson. It's pretty close to Silver Dollar City.
Yeah.
And we have a creek on property. There's a creek. There is a cave. So we go hiking on property and stuff like that. So yeah.
That's what I was going to ask.
Do you guys hike over to the airport over there? I know it's like right across on the opposite hill.
We pretty much go in the opposite direction, but try to steer clear of this.
It's a little loud.
But close. We're close to that. I mean, Table Rock Lake is pretty close to us.
School of the Ozarks, or what is it? The
School of the Ozarks.
That's not School of the Ozarks. It's
College
of the Ozarks. There we go.
Yeah.
Isn't that their airport over there, or is that a different one?
That's the Branson Airport, I think, right? On 86.
Is that the airport where that 737 landed on an accident?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoops.
There we go.
Yeah,
I don't know if you knew about that, Lowlan. That was a couple of years ago.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Right. So you guys have 200 acres. You got a cave. You got a creek. So, to get into some of the programs, do you guys incorporate nature quite a bit into that? Because, and the only reason I ask is because we've talked about this before, and even on the last podcast, I told you we would dive into this a little bit, David. But, I've been through some things in my life that we're not going to explore today. But let's just say there was quite a bit of heartache at one point, not from a girl or anything like that, but real trauma. And, the one thing that I noticed that helped me more than anything in my entire life was hiking and getting out in nature. So do you guys incorporate that quite a bit into what you guys are doing in the programs?
Absolutely. We would be crazy if we didn't, right? In such a beautiful area.
Oh yeah.
We have kayaks, fishing poles, bikes, and we try to, whenever it's nice, we try to take a group of guys to do those different activities and incorporate, therapeutic or kind of discipleship Christian type discussions to add value to those, or just, it's nice just to walk and have some quiet time or discussions. So getting out of the school, getting out of the dorms and trying to get into nature is absolutely valuable. So
I love that, because you talk about scripture, you talk about God, you talk about faith, anything like that, which is incorporated into what you guys do, because you're a faith-based organization. And anytime you're ever in nature, you just can look around and just that if God created this, right? So I get to enjoy it. But you can incorporate a lot of faith-based items into that as well, which I do with some people that I hike with as well. So, you guys are touching all of these guys' lives. So what's your age range for your programs?
Yeah, so our primarily, I'd say on average, is about 16-year-olds, but we have as low as 13
Wow.
and as high as, we have certain guys that come in at 17 and turn 18. And so it's anywhere from 13 to 18.
Good.
But students in our program, we don't take them after 18. So.
Okay, good. So by then you hope that they're ready, willing, and able to go out into the world and take it on, right? So how do you guys get them prepared, not just with nature, but how do you get them prepared to go from this addiction or what they're struggling with to releasing them out into the wild, let's just say?
That's a good way of putting it.
And because, every kid's
real.
Well, every kid's freaking out at 17, 18 when they're like, oh my God, I'm getting ready to graduate. What am I going to do?
Well, it just feels like the world nowadays is more complex too.
Absolutely.
The internet, I mean, there's good and bad about that, of course, but there's also just all these options out there.
Absolutely.
It's like, if you don't know, if you're a little bit lost, it can be very confusing.
And it can go, it's a slippery slope when you're lost. But, you talk about a job. You talk about, what do I do? Do I go to school? Do I go into the workforce? Or do I do both? So tell us a little bit about how you guys control that.
Yeah, you hit it on the head. A lot of it is preparation. I think any young man could have value in doing something like this to prepare for adulthood. Because a lot of times, in high school, it's just not intentional in that. You're just kind of going to school and it's like, oh, I'm an adult now. So these guys, they come in here and, we try to, deal with the trauma that they've been through or whatever issue that they've got themselves into so they come into our program and they do an orientation, and it's a 5-phase system. So we've done some research about how we should prepare them. So it starts with focusing on the individual. We look internally. We try to tell them their true. We teach them their true self in spirituality in terms of that in Christ, and we help them deal with themselves. And then after they finish the first phase, they go into building healthy relationships. How to deal with healthy relationships, families, parents.
Extremely important.
Oh man.
Yeah, exactly.
Relationships. I mean, we were talking about this at the networking meeting, right?
Yeah.
It's all about
it is all
who
about
you know, how you interact with them.
It really is, because sometimes people say it's not what you know, it's who you know. And being attractive to people, not just on the outward appearance, but being attractive, being approachable, that type of stuff that I love breathing into people.
Well, and that builds a good support network. So I mean, if you have had a history of you don't want to repeat that history and you've made those choices, having that kind of ability to build those relationships with people that will help you continue to build yourself and build yourself better.
Right.
I mean, that's super important.
Learn how to not argue with people and the small things. Really, it's just being tactful. You can't teach. Well, you can teach tact. You lead by example typically is where you find out what tact is, because there's a lot of people that just plainly don't have it. But especially when you're talking to 13-year-old, most of those kids don't have any type of thought process other than what's in front of them and what they want. Now you talk about going from 13-year-old to an 18-year-old who's a man now, and you're trying to send them out into the world with some type of tutelage on how to be around people. So what tricks do you guys teach them in that realm?
We have it's a 12-week, course so it's several books and different things like that, how to deal with authority, how to deal with having healthy relationships and, diving into the depths of, surrounding yourself with positive influences and things like that. So,
Okay.
it's in-depth content.
I'm glad you said that because, we were just talking about this too at our networking group that I started. And, as far as a positive mindset, that's something I breathe into every single person I meet.
Me too.
And the positive mindset it's easier said than done because negativity is everywhere, especially if you have access to a cell phone and you're on any of the platforms that are social media. It's very easy to go down a negative mindset trail because that's all you see. You never see good reviews. And that's what I always tell people is, you never see the good reviews. You always see the bad reviews. You always see the bad content, but you never see anything good. So usually when I see something bad, like I just saw something about a restaurant in Ozark that I love, and somebody's bad mouthing it and all this stuff, and I'm like, well, I've never had that experience, so maybe it's not the restaurant. I don't know. But
you look in the mirror.
But maybe you walked in there and you had a bad attitude, so maybe you were treated badly because
people are human, and maybe they just had a bad experience that one time.
Give somebody a break, right? But as far as a positive mindset is concerned, this is one of my favorite topics actually, and not to cut you off, but
you're good.
The positive mindset is something that I had to work for years to learn how to do it, and the law of attraction and things like that, where what you think about expands, what you think about you bring about, is really just the general synopsis of it. So the more you focus on something negative, the more negative you're going to be, and the more negative you're going to see things around you.
That makes sense.
You start picking things apart all around you because it's negative. But it's really hard to be a positive mindset person because you don't look for positive things. Usually you're looking for something to change, or you're looking for something to control. But once you go down that road of retraining your brain on how to be positive, then you start seeing the positive things around you start to happen, and more things come to you that are positive. And that goes with people too. You can start spotting people that are negative mindset people real quickly, and you kind of exclude those people, right? And it's hard to do that. You can keep an arm's reach, keep them as a friend, but just know that they're negative. So you don't want to absorb any of that energy. You want to be able to be around people that are positive. And I think that's probably the biggest thing you guys have going for you. Am I right, Lowlan?
Yeah, I can say that having a positive mindset and renewing your mind, with the Word of God, that, not every student here is going to become Christian, but there's a lot of positive characteristics that you can take from to have that good attitude of loving others, even though they might have mistreated you, or focusing, on gratitude. What do you have to be grateful for? We all have
life
things.
Habits. I mean,
Well, you wake up in the morning and you should be grateful.
Yeah.
Right. That you woke up in this bed, and you get to go get something to eat, some water.
It's 60 degrees in January.
Yeah. Oh, thank God for that.
Hallelujah.
And that's another segment we're going to talk about at some point. But, that's just where the small things. So do you guys incorporate that into it as well, of learning how to retrain your brain of, I had to start small. I woke up in the morning, I'm like, okay, well, I'm awake and I'm alive. That's a victory in itself. I'm with the Lost and Found Grief Center, and I'm on their board, and they recently came out with these bells that they used at one of our events, and now they've had these extra bells. They're like, what are we going to do with these extra bells? Well, it kind of just organically happened where we gave it to one of our big donors that was there that day, and she had lost her husband recently, and we came up with this idea of, this bell, anytime something positive happens. So it's almost like a Pavlovian response, right? So every time you ring that bell, it's because something positive happened. So now people are taking these bells and they're looking for something positive to be able to ring this bell, right?
I like it.
It's almost like retraining your brain on a much faster scale.
Yeah.
Because now you got this bell and you're like, I want to ring this thing. I want to try to upset that guy over there. So I'm going to try to ring this thing. So now that I've got an idea that this is what it's for positivity. Now I have to look for those things that are positive. Right. And that hit me square in the forehead, because I'm like, man, I wish I would have had that when I was going through what I was going through. So maybe something attainable that these kids could have, that makes them look for things that are positive. I'd love to deliver some
like
bells
that.
to you guys sometime, maybe at some
That's
point.
interesting. Yeah.
You know,
be ringing some
cool.
bells. Yeah, be bells everywhere. I like it.
Absolutely. That'd be super cool. I mean, you might be really hacked off by the end of the day because that's all you're hearing is bells, but that'd be, you'll smile every time.
A whole bunch of teenagers with bells.
Yeah. Oh,
gosh. Yeah, that could go back. It could go wrong.
Okay, so we use them at certain times of the day.
Maybe electronic bells that you can turn off remotely.
Maybe.
Yeah, right.
Metaphorical bells.
Metaphorical.
Yes.
I love the idea, though. That is,
it is a cool idea.
Really cool.
So maybe that is a takeaway for you, Lowlan. But anyways, Lowlan, tell us a few more things that you guys have going on before we wrap up. What kind of books do you guys have these guys reading and stuff?
Yeah, so just to finish the last few phases is we have the third phase, which we teach them leadership. The fourth phase is we teach them about our culture and how to operate in the changing culture. And then fifth, we teach them, we make a transitioning home plan with them, or into the wild, as you call it. But on the third phase, I actually teach that phase. And it's the leadership. Actually, a shout out to Evangel. I just finished my master's degree, organizational leadership there.
Yeah. Congrats, man. That's a big deal.
Yeah. And so in the leadership, I focus on, helping them find their purpose, helping them find their why in life. Like, why do they want to lead? Because we're all leaders, we're all influencing others. We do another book that we work in is The Celebration of Discipline, which is a really good book, just about different positive habits. It's a Christian book, of course. And then we use the Lead Like Jesus book, which is like a servant leadership, and it just breaks down the life of Jesus and how he was a leader.
That's an amazing book too.
Some books that I work out of. Yeah.
That's an amazing book. Now, I know as far as, being in leadership and being in sales myself as well, the small ones like How to Win Friends and Influence People with Zig Ziglar.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
One of the best books that you can incorporate into this. There's another guy by the name of Ken Coleman. I don't know if you know who that is. He's got a whole series coming out on what's called Focus on the Five, which is the top 5% of people in America or in the world that are movers, shakers, people that are in leadership. That I'd say at some point we could probably, I'm actually proofreading the book right now for his second book that's coming out. He's got one already. This one's more on the leadership side. So I will make it a point to get down there with some of those copies of that book for you guys at no cost, and we'll make sure you guys get those.
I like that.
But so as far as where you came from, you're the executive director, so there's probably not anybody better that could teach the leadership course to them. And then you teach them how to go out into the world and have a job and things like that, how to job interview, that kind of thing too.
Yeah, we do we actually are partnering with Elevate Branson out of Branson, and they're going to start teaching us some life skills that they're going to start teaching a class once a week.
That's cool.
I need to reach out to them actually, but yeah. So and that will include interviewing
info.
So,
I've heard Elevate Branson a lot lately in the last.
Oh, they're
months.
A fantastic organization.
I don't know anything about.
They're awesome.
We need to visit them because
you should. They're in the Ozarks.
Well, let me know if you've got a contact for them because I want to talk to them. And honestly, if you have any room for someone like myself, I mean, I'm in banking. I do mortgages, and I'm at Central Bank in Springfield. If there's ever a time you need me to come down and talk to them about what I do, or, at least give them some idea of what it's like out in the real world after, traumatic life-changing experiences, things like that, I'd love to get involved, Lowlan.
Listen, yes, that is definitely something we want people, again, with the positivity to come in and be a positive influence in different ways, whether it's spending time teaching some of what your knowledge, teaching an instrument. We do, we have times for them to learn instruments and music, and there's so much, there's so many ways to get involved in that. It's not, we give opportunities. Obviously you go through some volunteer training and have to do like a little background check thing, but I think you'd be okay. But.
Well,
you're not here in front of him, Lowlan. I mean, you just kind of look at him. And like,
I'm very unassuming.
That's an amazing guy. So yeah, he would be fine.
I would love that. I think that would be that's a fantastic idea for sure.
I'd love that, and maybe a show down there that we could do or something with you guys live.
This thing is portable.
And I've passed many background checks. Okay, working for a bank.
I think even some students could be involved with something with the podcast. They would enjoy something like that, perhaps. Yeah, that'd be good.
It spurs a lot of creativity, is what we you've noticed as well. And we used to have a radio show together, David and I, and another colleague of mine, Jen Laney. Shout out to Jen Laney. Love her to death. And our radio show was so fun. But we do need to wrap up. And Lowlan, thank you so much for being on the show.
And thanks for being the test person, too, for the phone call.
Yeah, it worked out good. Tell us how we can get in touch with you. Tell us where we can find Teen Challenge, how we might be able to volunteer and that type of thing.
Yeah, so you can go to our website at ozarksteenchallenge.org. You can email and just attention Lowlan, info@ozarkstc.org. So that's Ozarks plural, T as in Tom, C as in cat.org. Yeah, shoot us an email, and or just go to our Facebook page, the Ozarks Teen Challenge Facebook page. You can message us on there. That'd probably be easiest.
That's probably faster. Okay, that's perfect, because we want to try to be able to help you guys out as much as possible. Hopefully get some good people out of it. We want to stay in touch with you. We want to revisit this at some point and come down and visit you and see the grounds and maybe go through a day in the life of Lowlan. So, Lowlan, we really appreciate you, sir. Have a blessed day, and keep exploring the Ozarks.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
Thanks again for listening to our podcast, Exploring the Ozarks. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. What do the kids say? Smash that like button.
Smash that like. We'll put a little finger in a ding sound. Yeah. I'll see what I can do when I edit it.
And to help us get the word out, to share the stories of the Ozarks, if you're interested in supporting us, we have sponsorships for organizations through Patreon, through individual supporters. Check out the links below in the description. Go ahead and give us a comment, please. We want we want your input as well. We want to know, just like you heard.
And that helps the algorithm. So if you want to share stuff, or you want to get in front of more people, that always helps a ton.
Absolutely. And just like you've heard on the show today, we want more people like, what you just heard. We want to know if there's some small hidden gems. We want to know if there's a nonprofit. We want to know if you have connections to any of these places that we want to explore, because we truly are doing that. We are exploring the Ozarks one place at a time. And we really appreciate you guys listening, and keep exploring the Ozarks.
Dance our way out.